Welcome to the Idea Hub by SoftLogic Research. Today we will be giving you some insights on HeyCub, and I would like to introduce to you Renal, who is one of our research members who will be answering some of my questions.
Hi Sunila.
Hi. So Renal, my first question is going to be, so we have seen high volatility in the share price despite the earnings, and they were good earnings. So why do you still recommend the company as a growth stock?
So I think one of the reasons we wanted to come out and recommend and actually publish an extensive report on this particular stock is because we've realized that this has been a company that has been a part of the discussion and debate among many investor forums and among many investors really in the Colombo Stock Exchange. And most of the trading in this company has been with a lot of speculation, it's been with a lot of ideas, it's been with a lot of snippets about the company without exactly a holistic view. So what we did want to do is provide a well-rounded approach to the company and its growth prospects, and thereby help investors make better informed decisions regarding their investment. Regarding your question about the price drop, this is something that is actually quite interesting. We have seen this with a number of strong growth stocks in the stock exchange, where even 100-200% growth in earnings may even be viewed as a negative sign. Things like this usually do happen when investors have a very strong outlook towards the company and expect exponential returns on a regular quarterly basis. Now, while some of these things may not necessarily be realistic, the fact remains that the company has had a remarkable performance. And if I was to compare the previous 2 quarters, in both of those as well, you did see that despite there being a strong earnings growth, sentiment in the market was slightly put off in the first few days, and you saw the share price falling by almost 10% in just a couple of days in both instances. But if you were to look at 30 days down the line, you would notice that the share price had subsequently picked up by almost 20% again in both instances. And I believe this is probably a point where we may see a correction in the market very similar to that.
And you had reported an earnings multiple of 14. What's your reasoning behind this?
So what I believe is that 14 is actually a rather conservative multiple. And the reason I say that is because being such a high growth stock, the minimum you would expect would at least be for it to trade in line with the stock exchange. If you were to actually compare this with the material sector, which it is a part of, the material sector trades at close to 24 to 25 times earnings. And if you were to compare this with its global peers, you would realize that actually the earnings multiple there could be well above 30 times. So in the instance of HeyCub, the reason we have settled for just 14, which may seem a bit too conservative, is because we feel that with growth stocks, the main reason behind investors backing it is the understanding of the growth and its prospects. And we still feel that these are early days, and this would be probably one of the initiations where investors get to identify what the growth prospects of the company is. And once people are of this understanding and once they do believe in the story, I believe that the multiple could significantly expand in the future. Of course, as researchers, our duty is to inform the public as what we believe the price would be 1 year down the line. And we believe that this would be the minimum benchmark.
Okay, so why are you so bullish with the company?
So the reason we are very bullish about this particular company is because even though there is this sentiment that earnings have been growing due to COVID-induced reasons, what we have realized is that the earnings has been actually a rather organic growth. It has been the standard lines of business, and it has been through very strong margin improvements that we are seeing such a strong growth in earnings.
And could you let me know which areas or which manufacturing areas HeyCub is involved in?
So HeyCub has a number of key business verticals. The first being the largest contributor to revenue is the water purification segment. They also deal with gold extraction, air purification, and also supercapacitor carbons. Now, if you technically look at how each of these sectors break down, Water purification is one of those age-old sectors which at one point was almost 50% of revenue. It's one of those low margin segments which are stable and which have a sure sustained growth. If you look at things like gold extraction, in line with the gold price increases which we expect in the market, along with the sustainable production increases which happened even despite the drop in gold prices in 2013, what we see is gold production tends to be on the rise, and production statistics have not been affected by gold prices. So we believe that gold is going to be a segment that would continue. We believe that water is a demand that is always going to be there. And then we come to the two segments being air and supercapacitors. Now these two segments are what we are forecasting to be the key growth areas of the company. The reason I say that is because these are two segments which command very high margin products. When you look at air purification segment, what you notice is that with many regulations coming in, with people moving towards climate agreements, with people moving towards sustainable development goals, maintaining your carbon emissions becomes a key factor, and the cost, the pricing of activated carbon catering to that industry has been on the rise. And supercapacitor carbons is a story in itself. Supercapacitor carbons is a place where we've seen almost 5 times, where we've seen a price point which is almost 5 times higher than regular activated carbon. So we believe that could be a key growth stock, and the management of the company has also indicated that they want to move in towards these high margin products.
Could you elaborate more on supercapacitor carbons if you don't mind?
Sure. Yeah. So supercapacitor carbons is a segment that HEYCARB produces right now, mainly according to our research, to the electric vehicle category. Okay. HEYCARB does have existing contracts with companies like Tesla, who is right now the largest manufacturer of electric vehicles with almost a third of the global market share. And Tesla is a company which is on the verge of exponential growth in line with the EV boom. I know last year they produced over 500,000 vehicles which were sold in the market despite the pandemic season, and by 2030 projections are such that Tesla is to hit 20 million cars. So 500,000 to 20 million in 10 years is a very, very strong growth prospect for that industry.
So I've heard that HEYCARB specializes in coconut-based activated carbon. What's the difference between coconut-based activated carbon and normal activated carbon?
So if I could just break it down, there are 3 main differences. Firstly, coconut-based activated carbon is viewed as the sustainable alternative. The reason for that is its main competitors would be graphene or graphite-based activated carbon, which is not viewed as the sustainable alternative. And therefore, companies and brands that want to associate themselves with sustainable products would look to people such as HEYCARB who produce coconut-based activated carbon. Another thing in the industry is that we have seen that coconut-based activated carbon does command a higher price point. This too would be a key advantage to HEYCARB, along with the fact that a lot of research shows that in the chemical properties of activated carbon, coconut-based products do have a special competitive edge. So these would be the key advantages to HEYCARB as they predominantly focus on coconut-based activated carbon.
Okay. And what are the opportunities and threats that the company is likely to face or is facing right now?
So to talk a bit about the opportunities which are not directly related to the core business lines, the main benefit that I would see would be the US dollar depreciation that would be coming in. I think it would be fair to expect between 8 to 10% depreciation in the coming year, and along with that you would see a major positive impact to both revenue and margins purely through the US dollar depreciation. In terms of a risk, the one thing that stands in industries such as this is the raw material prices. The moment you do have exposure to agricultural cycles, the moment you do have exposure to potential supply side demand shocks or supply shocks, what you do see is that companies may face a little bit of volatility. This is something that we may point out as a key risk in terms of the investment in HEYCARB. because coconut prices and coconut supply is something that is required for HECAB in the future. A couple of measures that the company has taken in order to combat this risk is firstly looking at a couple of other countries through which it could source its production. So right now HECAB does source its production from Sri Lanka, Indonesia and Thailand, which helps mitigate the risks associated with climate changes and weather patterns in one particular region. Another key concept that HECAB has introduced is the whole aspect of maintaining buffer stocks. So by maintaining buffer stocks, they are able to mitigate short-term supply shocks or price hikes to a certain degree. Of course, none of these are completely foolproof, and therefore this does remain as a key risk going forward.
Okay. And what technological changes could have on HECAB? Would it have a negative impact or a positive impact, or how would HECAB react to it actually?
This could potentially be a double-edged sword for HECAB, but then this would also probably apply to any product in any industry. When it comes to technological changes or innovations, there could always be that new technology or new innovation that comes that completely wipes out an old product. But to give you some perspective into this, HECAB's role in terms of producing activated carbon actually is at the forefront of technology. And if you look at most of the business verticals that they're really moving into, these are the verticals that are actually catering to the future. Be it electric vehicles, which is a new development in global markets, be it even air purification, where it was recently announced by Elon Musk himself that he wants to make $100 million fund for a sustainable innovation for air purification. Now, all of these are seen within activated carbon itself. So if you were to pose that technology question, what I would say is that the technology drive would probably come within activated carbon itself and actually be extremely beneficial for HECAB specifically in the long run.
So thank you, Renal, for that insightful discussion, and thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.